Hello, Secret Evil Paper viewers. We're gonna be interviewing the person here, Cats Armin. He's kinda important, isn't that right?
Yeah.
WCR guy.
Hey
Yeah,
everybody,
low
nice to see
key.
y'all. Thank you for having me, Revolt.
Introduce yourself, man.
I am Kats Armin, I won't, the, it's complicated, but a leader in the WCR, and, I am happy to be here, and yeah.
Low Keely.
Okay.
Anyways, so the whole like big idea of this interview is why'd you bring it back? What's the whole purpose of bringing WCR back, and what's your future for it?
Well, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but the first WCR, they ended because we ended up joining USA. USA, it was really, the reason why we brought it back in short terms is that essentially, we felt that the USA wasn't a good place for us, and we wanted to do our own thing and have our own nation.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, the reason why I brought it back was the USA. They're a great nation. They had some nice people, a bit of toxicity, but it's all right. So essentially, what happened was the USA broke a few deals. Plus, we told them, hey, can we not siege these nations and we'll join you? They said, yeah, we won't siege your old allies. They like wanted to siege them. Also, a few other issues presented themselves as, example, like them not really I'm gonna say caring about the WCR, like old territories, which we're a bit concerned about. So we decided to do our own thing, and we also generally like mix and weld the community.
Yeah, I saw the toxicity part of it. Was it just you? Because I know there's a few other leaders. Did they have like a ton of influence on this?
Well, on leaving the WCR, that was essentially here's what happened. I rallied everyone together, Blue Ghost, we got New Gen, Blue Ghost, all the major guys in the WC you could think of, TNT. I got them all together and said, alright, y'all, this needs to change. They were on agreement, so we decided to kind of do our own thing and secede from our own nation. But yes, I was the one who kind of brought everything together and tied the boat together.
So you're just tired of like fluorosphere activities, like USA specifically?
Oh no, not necessarily. Florida Spear, they were alright. We even joined back briefly.
Yeah.
But the issue was that they violated agreement. Like we specifically the deal I don't want to get into, but there was a nation that supported us when we were WCR that we didn't want the USA to siege. The USA was gonna siege them regardless of the deal we made to merge it. So we had to like bribe the USA leaders to not. It was kind of weird.
Bribe USA leaders to not what?
Or like pay them because they said, "Oh, it's free money if we siege this nation," and it was free money, but we thought they were chill, so we essentially offered to give them money in exchange for them not doing it.
Not doing what?
But
I'm sorry.
sieging the nation in question.
Oh, the WCR?
No, no, not WCR. Another nation. We were a part of USA at this
Hmm.
time.
Okay. Um, so there's no beef between you and USA, fluorosphere, etc.
Oh, I'm not sure what they have against us, if they have anything, but we certainly don't have anything against them. I don't believe they have anything against us. No, they were a great nation, just not how we personally prefer to play the game.
Yeah, okay. Well, recently there was also this whole like this is literally the talk of right now, the spheres of influence update, where the whole you have to be within somebody's fort range, etc., etc. Everybody knows it by now. There's no need to explain it. What's your opinion, man? Give me something.
Okay, this could be rather unpopular, especially a lot of the PvPer nations like EPF for example, but I personally love the idea because I'm kind of sick of the thing where it's like, oh, I'm at like this one guy half a continent away, and you're all like this other guy. We can't like work with each other. We're part of separate alliances. I never really liked that. I believe things should be more intricate than that and not be like two-sided. And I believe this is the perfect way of making it more intricated and more, how do I put this, not to where everything's just one side or the other.
Hmm.
So I love this change.
All right. I think it's a good update as well because I feel like CCNet's really before this update, CCNet's really been like a if you attack somebody, then freaking World War III starts and that crap, and it's just insane because there's
Yeah,
alliance, there's coalition, and there's like no neutral nations. But now it's just like everybody's kind of separated. And we've seen a lot of. I feel like the way it was executed though is kind of bad because a lot of nations weren't expecting it. But
Oh yeah,
it
they
is
should
what it
have
is.
given us
Yeah,
more foresight. I agree with that.
yeah, yeah. You got anything else on that?
No, my opinions as well are pretty clear. I think they should have given some more time to announce it, but also I think the change itself is very good for the server.
Nice. All right, so the nation, we're gonna go back to WCR. What's its position now, and what do you think's gonna go on now from here?
Well, our position in the WCR is that we are trying to get our footing, recover, and we aren't too interested in expansionary policy, like just sieging Vanovia, for example. We aren't interested in that kind of stuff. Right now, we just want to be low-key chill, chill in our corner of the world, rebuild, regrow, and essentially just like repair from the damage that happened after the collapse of the first WCR. After that, then we can talk about helping our allies and helping people we like after we manage to do that.
I see. Okay, random input here because I can't think of any questions. Me and Microwave both got nominated for the CCNet awards thing. Thank you everybody who voted for us. If you, I don't know if we're gonna vote again. I doubt it. I think they already have winners. It's gonna be announced. But if we do get voted again, get us up there. Thank you all so much for doing this. It means a lot to me and Microwave. We've been working really hard on these papers for a while now. So, anyways, I'm gonna get back to the interview real quick. Is there any questions you have for me?
Yes, I have a question. Uh, first of all, like about CE news.
Hmm.
Curious, that you mentioned a stock report a while back. How could you like make money off it? Like, could you invest in the company?
I don't know. That's Microwave's whole deal.
All right.
I don't know about any of the stock or anything.
Anyway, I do want to clarify something though.
Hmm.
Leadership in the WCR, I know there's some misconceptions about it because we have recently switched our whole government system, but
Oh,
we
really?
started out with a weird democracy thing where we had three branches: the ministers, the Senate, and the leaders. Senate was elected and they chose the ministers, and it was complicated and just generally had a lot of issues. So the council of the ministers and leaders almost near universally voted to switch. Now we have a council of basically just the minister system, same thing that they use in LSR.
Okay.
No elections. So I just want to clarify that.
Can you go on about this government? Maybe get Blue Ghost in here and talk about it? Because I'm curious about this now.
Oh yeah, I guess I will bring Blugos in for a few seconds. And first, I want to clarify what it is because Blugos, no offense, you don't clarify as the best. There are still leaders. It's me, Blugos, Sparky. Though me and Blugos are the main decision makers at the moment.
I'm
So
sorry.
essentially,
You cut out really badly. Just a second there. Could you repeat yourself?
okay. Sorry. What I meant is that the government's structured to where we have the ministers and the leaders currently.
Hmm.
There isn't too much of a difference, but everyone has their own role. I mainly basically focus on foreign policy. I do that a lot. I do a lot of recruiting, buying designs, and essentially, like I'm basically the most well-known person, obviously in the WCR. So I'm essentially like the foreign policy guy.
Okay.
Blue Ghost, on the other hand, for example, he does a little bit of everything, does a little bit of recruiting, and just genuinely helps out the nation. And Sparky, he's the problem solver. He solves the problems if we have him. And TNT, he focuses on defense, and Nugent's our grinder.
I see.
That's kind of everyone's role in the nation, and we kind of stick to our own role, work together, and just agree on stuff that happens without having a complicated series of votes. And Blue Ghost's opinion, he's one of the very few people that voted against this new thing, so I will put him up to describe the new system in his words.
Am I
So,
up?
yeah, go for it.
So, with the old system, should I explain what the previous system we had was?
Sure, go for
Uh,
it.
yes,
So
Claire.
with the initial, and this is not what is currently in place, this is what was initially in place and got recently restructured. The initial system was that the government had three branches. So the executive branch was me, Katz, and Sparky. And whenever there was some kind of thing that needed to be urgently acted on, if we all agreed, we could just do that
Hmm.
without any votes. But we also had a Senate that where you actually had to create bills and pass them through, and the people in that branch were elected, and there were unelected ministers that like had their own fields where they could work in. The main criticism that people had of that system at the time was that it was too bureaucratic. Me and maybe not, it's debatable. A couple other people like that aspect, but I mean, it's clear that it was generally not liked because of that. So we restructured to a new system where me, Cats, and Sparky can still use executive power for any necessary like emergency decisions, but there are a council of like ministers and stuff that for longer pre-planned decisions we discussed with.
Okay.
All right,
And
great.
we also still have ministers that deal with specific areas. Like TNT is our Minister of Defense, for example. I guess you all
Oh,
might
so
not have
this
interacted
is
with
this
them.
is a minister system.
Yeah, that's what we currently
Yes.
have.
So like basically an oligarchy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, uh, I also want to clarify my own role. I'm not the sole leader. Obviously, I speak power with Blue Ghost, and Sparky kind of intervenes between us and makes pop. But I do have foreign policy. Blue Ghost is a bit more domestic, so if you have any issues, don't come to me per se,
Hmm.
but like come to the whole government as a whole is what I mean. But yeah, I do the foreign policy stuff mainly. So I should clarify my own role because I know that's an aspect of confusion.
So there's no like representative leader or sole leader of the WCR.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's one leader that does all the foreign policy stuff, is more known than everyone, and genuinely, in my opinion, does a lot of stuff. So, but not really. No, there's no formal one leader. It's either me
Okay.
or.
All right then. Um, I mean, I guess Henry. Do you have a question, Henry? Raise your hand if you do. Give him a few seconds. Okay, so no subscriber questions. Do you have any questions for me again? Either one of you?
Yes, I do have a few questions for you. So, CE News, I know y'all been like y'all some personal stuff going on, and have really been have cut off like as much production. You used to publish weekly. Now you're kind of slowed that a bit. I want to ask, what's the future plans of CE News, and how will it develop in the future?
Okay, so for this week, I'm gonna be like trying to be more active on it. I've done a couple papers and I'm doing this interview now. I'm gonna be trying to do some interviews this week, but once again, Microwave is just like it's like I guess tax season or something. He's having to work a lot. He doesn't have time to do this. And then me, I have very little time to do it.
Uh,
So in that very little time, I'm tired and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. But then, I find time to do it. I find time whenever I can. So in the future, yes, we're going to be going back to the weekly thing, interviews, stuff like that. It's probably going to be more active because I'll be able to be active more. Microwave will be able to be active more.
all right,
It's not going to stay like this. I know how it is right now. It's kind of in the dump. We're in our low point right now, but that happens. And this isn't the end of S.E.E.
all right, sounds great. Blue wanted to step in and talk about the economy of the WCR, which I don't particularly know what that
Okay.
means, but all right.
Yeah, Kat, would you consider me to be the one who leads most of this the stuff regarding this initiative?
No, it's really Nugent's thing. At least that's
You're
what I see.
right. You're absolutely right. It is his thing.
Do we want to get Blue Jim?
We've
Blue
no, I
Jin?
don't. I don't think he's needed to bring it now. I've talked with him about these ideas before, and what I'm going to say now is actually something I was considering. but we've realized that there's been some stagnation in the nation. Our growth has slowed, and one of our plans that we have discussed to alleviate that is to try and implement some more complicated aspects of the economy. Like there's some discussion about internally trying to make companies an actual thing that exists within the nation, and maybe also creating some system for investment, whether that's like bonds or if we somehow figure out how to do stocks, although I'm doubtful of that one.
I don't know how that'd work.
So yeah, I'm doubtful that that will actually happen, but we could do bonds. We could trade debt. That's a actual thing that could be done. But one of the things that we're talking about doing to try and squeeze out some more activity is trying to implement some more complicated aspects of an economy.
Hmm.
Um,
The whole money system on CCNet, like, it's kind of complicated to do any of like realistic economic stuff because there is no like money's always money. It's weird because it's like printing money, but it doesn't lose its value at all. That's literally the entire thing of CCNet. The money, the dollar, a CCNet dollar hasn't changed from a dollar. It's always been a dollar, and yet people are printing out silver and stuff, and it's basically just printing money. So I feel like stocks and stuff like that would be too It'd be like very hard to do considering this.
Yeah, I kind of
yeah,
agree.
but debt, I think,
Yeah,
is
that's
the
okay.
most obvious
Once
first
again,
starting point.
why not just print out money?
Well, the reason why not is because essentially we aren't looking to print out money. Money's not an issue. The issue is the activity that gets players to do that. So if we can make essentially a get rich quick scheme
Hmm.
for new players, which it may be less efficient, but it's also kind of fun to do and it's less soul crushing than silver farming. And it's
Yeah.
kind of passive. We believe that can increase activity in the nation. We're not doing this for money necessarily, we're doing it for activity.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, no one in the nation wants to silver farm, so we've been really pushing
I do.
for expanding our ability to produce and export goods.
Well,
Yeah,
who
that's
well
kind of a
who
big thing.
wants to silver farm to be for
I do.
Exactly.
real?
Well,
I'm insane, but hey.
and that's also has informed our political stances to an extent if Katz wants to go into that or if he's comfortable expanding on that.
I will go into that. So essentially, our current position on political stuff is we want to maintain a good relation with all nations. We do want to help out the nations that we consider like chill and our friends basically. But for anybody who like we don't plan on just randomly invading a nation for no reason, just besides money. We want to build relationships with those nations that are built on trade and mutual like cooperation. And yeah, that's essentially what he means by that.
Is the WCR like a neutral trade nation, builder nation?
Uh, I would say we're doing something very similar to the first Ironwood thing, if y'all know what that was.
Hmm.
Where essentially, right now, we currently have a lot of like, we do have a lot of trade going on, with especially New Gen Ninja, if anyone knows who he is. He's running around the world trading with everybody, being essentially like great about just trading and like running around the world, helping everybody, trading it with everybody. That's
Yep.
essentially what he's doing.
Okay.
So yes, I would say we are becoming a trade nation, just like that.
Do you plan on ever aligning yourself to any nations in North America?
Well, that's a complicated question that I don't want to answer right now,
Okay.
because obviously I can't tell what's going on in the future. But I will say we'll actively try to be chill with everyone. But if somebody does fuck us over, we will have an army ready to respond.
Okay. And let's say hypothetically the SOI update is like just absolutely hated by the community and removed from CCNet. Would you find yourself still neutral the same way, or would you find yourself aligning towards any of the alliances for protection or something like that?
Well, protection will become a very large issue at that point, and we'd probably militarize ourselves. And we may align with alliances, but we'd probably align with the alliance that like least kind of bullies us around.
Hmm.
In that case scenario, which we don't tend to be bullied around. We are militarizing and we are ready for any conflict.
Ooh, I have an actual fun question here. So,
All
the
right.
other day, I got a DM from, well, someone that the world knows the name of. A
No.
little guy from a nation down south, a house down
No.
south in New Orleans. Uh, a little guy named Supercell, and he came to me apologizing for stuff, and he told me that he apologized to you.
Yeah, he did.
So, how is that? How is that now? Do you like, oh my gosh, I'm not the number one CE hater anymore. Is that the situation now? Or
So here's the thing. I've realized that like randomly hating a whole nation because of one like few people's actions was probably not the best move for me. I've realized like Supercell, he fucked up. He was the main guy who did it. He like fucked up, and essentially, I'm not ever gonna go back to being a CE vassal. Probably not even gonna be on necessarily a good relationship with him, but we don't intend on attacking CE if they don't attack us. He needs to like just try better in the future, in my opinion.
I'm gonna start asking people this, but what do you think the future for CE is? Because it's kind of looking grim.
I personally believe CE is a nation that has done a lot of bad stuff in its time. Like I don't like what they did against EPF. But not EPF, what the hell am I saying? ETM. EM. Like I don't like how they this is a personal preference, but why did they I don't like how they just cut down forts. Like they'll just destroy half the fort and leave it there to rot. I just like personally I think they have a bad history as a nation of like fucking people over that kind of stuff, but I don't believe it's hopeless for them. I think they can turn it around if they want to, but right now I would say that it's going downhill for CE.
Somebody once told me that CE ever wanted to recover, they'd have to create a new nation. I don't know how I feel about that opinion, but
I don't believe that.
yeah, about that because they said rebranding when we're called this all this because we had Cultist Empire, they screwed people over, and then Caribbean Empire, they screwed people over. But anyways, I personally don't know how that's gonna turn out. That'll be a fun thing to look on in the future. But I think that's all the questions I have for you. If you think of anything you want to say to the people who are watching, or you have anything to ask me once again that came to your mind?
Blue, do you want to say anything?
Nothing that really comes to mind. I think we covered all the important stuff.
Well, I would like to mention one last thing. There's been a
Or
growing threat for the all North American nations, in fact, the world even, because I'm pretty sure they are void for SOI. But Staff Nation is once again expanding, and we need to work as a server to fight back.
God.
Like, look at Norman Wells; they've expanded almost 3 times their old size. If we don't fix this, there's been 3 times their size every single week. Imagine the whole server will just become Norman Wells. Think about that, everybody. Staff Nation does not care about SOI. They're too strong. We all need to band together to fight it. To fight Staff Nation.
As a response to
Simple.
the impending threat posed by Staff Nation, I'd like to announce the West Coast Nuclear Weapons Program.
Between the bomb and Asia's and Ender Dragon.
Oh my God. Dude, I love this whole anti-staff nation thing that's been going on, dude. It's the funniest shit
Yeah,
ever.
but it's concerning because not enough people are talking about this. We need to get prep the nuclear weapons and bomb in Asia's Ender Dragon.
Well, you heard it from Blue Ghost himself, folks. The nuclear arms race has begun. It's Cold
Yeah,
War. It's the Cold War in
gotta defeat
CCNet.
Staff Nation.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, both of y'all. I love talking to y'all about it. I think it was more of a Blue Ghost interview than a Cats Army interviews, but whatever. Um,
I brought him on
n
briefly. Hey,
anything
goes
else?
to
Anything
stuff.
else before I shut you down?
One last thing I do want to say is we have been stagnating to an extent the WCR, but I still believe we are still growing as a nation quite fast.
Yeah.
Quite fast. And I do believe our future is bright if we continue to stay on our course and not kill each other. So
Nice.
yes,
Oh, yeah,
overall,
I've
I would
got a
say
lot
like
of
our future is
expansion
bright.
planned. I've got a lot of expansion planned. Sorry for talking over.
Don't pull a WCR last time. The last time. The last thing that happened. Shoot, I can't talk.
What?
the whole people wanting to kill you and end of the freaking nation thing?
We're much more stable now.
Much more stable.
Nice.
Well, a lot of the reason why is because we know why. We know why they did it. Remember, I'm pretty sure you know especially why some of them did it. You worked
I think it was
very
a
well, Revolt.
I think it
But
was
you
a
brought things
democracy.
together, and it brought up old like the whole. There were some minor issues over tax that a few players like wanted to leave over, like a summer especially. Nugent just straight up didn't like me leading as the sole leader because he just doesn't like that. And that was the main like only two really big issues at the time. But you
Yep.
brought up old issues during over TAC, which I do regret. Like I was being a dick in TAC. I kind of understand why they revolted at the time. But essentially, they keep you essentially by kind of stirring the pot. You brought up old issues relating to that, and that was the reason why everything
I
went
have
so
no
bad.
idea what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking
I
about,
have no
Revolt.
idea what you're talking about.
All right, all right.
Just because my name's Revolt doesn't mean I'm such a bad guy, man.
You know what you did,
Anyway,
Revolt.
you have no idea what I did back in '99.
You can't hide it. Anyway, well, nice seeing you. Thank you for having me. And
Of
Blue
course.
Ghost.
And
And
thanks
yeah,
once again, subscribers, to thanks once again to everybody who voted me and Microwave for nominees once again. Love all of y'all. Thanks for
vote
bringing.
microwave.
Oh man, not me. That's crazy. Anyways.
Not you, Revolt. You're banned.
Anyways, y'all are the reason S.E.E is as successful as it is. Me and Microwave can't thank y'all enough. It's been a great journey. And Cats, thanks as an interviewee for coming and, just talking with us, Everybody who's done interviews with us, watched us, read our papers, everybody's contributed to this thing, and it's just been a wild ride, man. I've loved it. I know Microwave's loved it. But I'm going to end the interview here. Thanks for
Wait,
watching. This is
I want
Revolt
to add one
12.
last thing.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, one last thing.
We will attack any nation that doesn't like Dr. Pepper. So
Oh
yeah,
my God. Who
I just
doesn't
want to
like
say that.
Dr. Pepper?
Any if Anobi doesn't like Dr. Pepper, if it's not their favorite drink, we're coming after them.
I'll tell you who doesn't like Dr. Pepper. Communists.
Communists.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, nice seeing you. Well, nice seeing y'all. Thank you for having me again.
It's been Revolt with the S.E.E news. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.